What did I do? Well, that's the whole harness. There it is. Pulled the whole thing out. And it is just a gnarly old wiring harness. Half the stuff was hooked up, half the stuff wasn't. Just wires and ugliness and crimps and electrical tape and all kinds of ugliness with this old thing. So anyhow, that's a major goal. So getting all the old harness out, that was a big deal. So I was pretty excited about that. We got that done the other day. Obviously removing it's maybe a little bit easier. Well, I would say a lot easier, because you can cut wires and stuff and just kind of destroy it, because you know you're putting back new stuff. So whenever I get to a point where something was fighting me or whatever, we would just cut the wires and pull it off. So I'd say the hardest part was underneath the dash. There was when you get back in here and stuff, some of that stuff I had to pull through the firewall, and it had a big old grommet on it, and it was really hard to pull out of there. So, but we got it all. I mean, everything's unhooked. So I even pulled the stereo out like I said I was going to. So I mean, awesome. Again, I had my good friend Tom come over and help me, and that went really well. We worked pretty good as a team, so we just kind of divided and conquered. I think I started in the rear of the car with all the tail light harness. He started up in the front, and we just kind of chipped away at it together. So, all right, well, what's next? You got the old harness out. What's next? Where do you start? I decided I want to start in the rear of the car. I read somewhere or saw on a video or something that the rear of the car isn't as bad, and it could be like one of those small victories that kind of keeps you excited about the project. So I was thinking about doing the whole rear harness. So let's take a look at this here. Let's take a look at this here. So this is the whole, open up big ways, I guess. This is the rear body harness installation instructions. So if you look at this page in a whole, you can see where, like down here is your backup light, turn signal. This car actually had courtesy lights on either side that aren't going to get hooked up. The dome light, I haven't decided about that yet because we don't really have the door switches. But if you look at this part here, this is what's important. We try not to put a shadow on it. So there's a couple, the connector here has some wires that are already been put in it, and that's definitely stuff that you use. There's also a couple extra wires that haven't been put into that connector because they're kind of like optional. Maybe something you will use, maybe something you won't. So if you look here, there's a wire over here, an orange one. Pardon me there. There's an orange wire that you can pop into that circuit. And it says here, 12-volt battery, may be used for LED tail lights or optional trunk light. I was thinking about using those because I've got the LED tail lights, but there's also a wire here. It says 2/3 brake light. It's a blue wire. And you can see here, it's not in the connector. So I'm going to go ahead, I went ahead and popped that wire in there. And I'm going to run this blue wire to the back because there might be a function on those LED tail lights that might utilize this. So I'm going to run that. What else does it say? So there's even, I think they even sent like a bare wire. So if you look over here, you can see it's got the letter P, and it says 12 volt courtesy switch wire. So the courtesy switch is like, there's these lights in the back of the car, and when you open up the door, the little jam switch opens up and it turns those lights on. I don't have those in my car, so I don't really need that. Again, there's this one here, Q. This is for the third brake light. We're going to wire that in there. We've got this other one, R. That's 12 volt battery. I'm not going to use that one, I don't think. And then there's a couple ground wires for these courtesy switches, and I'm not going to use. But they also had a wire here, O, and it's basically a wire that was meant for the courtesy switch. But I'm going to put this, I'm not actually going to connect it into this at all. I'm just going to run it with all of those wires. And the reason being is I have a electric fuel pump in this car, and it sits back here in the trunk area. Let's see here. I don't know if you can see these two screws right here. Basically on the other side of that is where I have my electric fuel pump, just sitting there by the tank. So there needs to be a power wire that runs to it. So I'm going to run that extra wire while I'm running all these other ones in the back. So I have my electric fuel pump wire, and it'll be run all nicely inside the car, not underneath and all that. So it takes a little bit of planning, a little bit of thought when you're doing this, because there's optional things that you can plug into the harnesses. So that was the main thing I wanted to point out on this video was, you know, kind of like you have to think. I want to do one thing at a time, which, like I said, I just want to do the rear body harness. So on these instructions, it's like every page is like a different I don't know how to, different segment of the job, maybe, if you will. So this is for the front light harness, this page here. So as you can see, it's got your turn signals here. You got headlight, you know, turn signal, headlight. You got some horns. And then this wiring harness allows you to run wires if you have an electric fan, which I don't have, but I still might run those wires up there. So there's just a lot of like, I don't know, forethought, a lot of planning that goes involved. So I just, like I said, I want to divide this up into just these little segments to where I'm just focusing on that one segment, like I said, this rear body harness. And then I can kind of get that all finished and check that off the list and just focus on that one section. Because everything is like, as a total, it's kind of daunting and your mind can just wander and stuff. So this is the way I really want to do it, is just do it in like little segments. So again, I'm going to be working on the rear body harness, all the rear lights and all that kind of stuff, the backup lights. So if you look down here, here's the connector that sits up underneath your dash and goes to the rear of the car. So I just put this on here to kind of weigh it down a little bit so I could stretch this out. It comes all rolled up and bundled. So when you start to take it apart, it's all just twisted and round and stuff. So I just kind of stretched it out across this floor here. And I mean, these wires are super long. I mean, this is the whole length of the car and then some. You know, so you're obviously going to have plenty of extra. So this is the rear body harness wires here. I've got that sheathing, like I said. I'm going to sheathe everything and put shrink wrap on all of it. And that's going to be step one right now for the rewire. Is just that rear body harness. So again, I just wanted to make a quick video kind of updating you where we're at right now. So I think on the last video I left off on removing the old harness. So there you go. I removed the old harness. And I'm glad I did. It was really gnarly. It was definitely really gnarly. Definitely some really iffy looking stuff. So happy to do it. So all right, well, one bite at a time, one bite at a time. Remove the old harness. That's history. Done with all that. So now I'm into putting all the new stuff in. So the rear body harness, I can show you this too. So driver's door here. So my light on? Yeah. So there's a little tunnel down here that goes back into this kick panel spot, and this is kind of where the connector lives. This is where the connector lives, back in here somewhere. So, and then all the wires run down through this tunnel, and then there's a little thing that goes underneath there, and then the wires run up into this cavity here, which, you know, you got to make sure you're not getting anything wrapped around this window mechanism. That's pretty important. And then they just kind of run out over this wheel well here and into the trunk area. So that's my next goal. I'm gonna wrap up that harness, the rear harness. I'm gonna, you know, get it all sheathed and everything. I'm gonna run it through that little path that I was just showing you. Get everything here to the back of the car, and you know, like I said, just try to get everything run, get its path figured out, where everything's gonna lay, where it's all gonna sit, and then you know, just start wiring some stuff up, and then move on from there. Haven't quite figured out where I'm gonna go after the rear harness yet, but I know for now we're gonna work on the rear harness and get that all knocked out. So cool. All right, I think I'm gonna leave it there. Like I said, the goal from the last video was get the old harness out, which we did. I think the goal for the next video is to get that rear harness run and start to get the wires laid out and start making crimps and connections and stuff. So I think I'll show a little bit of that, maybe. I don't know how much I'll show running the harness and stuff, but I think once I get everything back into place, maybe I'll show how I'm putting sheathing on stuff, a little bit of shrink wrap, and how I'm making my crimps and connections and all that kind of good stuff. So a little bit of that. There's going to be a bunch of that throughout the video, so I don't think I need to show all the crimps and all the connections that I'm making, just some of them, so you get an idea. And that should be pretty good. That should be informative enough for these videos. So yeah, I think this whole series is going well. Like I said, one bite at a time. I keep kind of dividing it up into these little divisions and segments, and I'm just going to accomplish a goal and then just move forward and just keep on trucking, you know. So good stuff. All right, awesome. Thanks for watching, everybody. As far as the next video goes, we'll have to see. I'll have to think on it a little bit more and plan out where I want to go next after this rear body harness, and I'll bring you back and show you what I'm doing. So cool. Thanks for watching. I appreciate all the viewership. Again, spread the good word if you know anybody working on American Autowire stuff, or a 68 Mustang for that matter. And again, I appreciate y'all for watching. So thanks again, and I'll catch you on the next one. Should be in a week, maybe two. And I think I'm going to start posting these videos every 2 weeks. I'm starting to compile a couple backlogged ones, and that means I should be able to consistently place them every 2 weeks, which I think would be pretty good. I was never able to do that before. I just popped the video up here and there and stuff. I had no real consistency, so that's the plan. We're just going to keep making little videos, and I'm just going to post them every 2 weeks, I think, until I get too many built up, and then maybe I'll start posting them every week. But I don't see that happening. So, cool. Thanks, everybody. Have a wonderful day, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye.